a nice fish.
Coming up. On this week's episode, Bob's fishing on Lake Ontario with Captain Scott Walcott from Bay of Quinte Charters for walleyes in the dark. Precision pays using Navionics mapping to find fish, wireless trolling technology to keep on them, and flicker minnow baits to catch them. Bob is over the moon catching walleyes at night.
Wow. Here we go. That is a fish of a lifetime right there. Wow, that thing is a monster.
They fight hard, don't they?
Look at that magnificent fish.
Look at the size of that fish.
There he is again.
The color is incredible.
Oh, there we go. The Real Fishing Show with Bob Izumi.
Big old Great Lakes smallmouth. That is a big rainbow trout, Chris. Nice double header. Whoa!
Nice jump.
Yeah. All right. That is a monster smallmouth. Man, that is so cool. Another one, there we go. The biggest pike I've ever caught. Look at that chunk. So that's what we're talking about.
Real Fishing is sponsored by Mercury, #1 on the water, and Tim Hortons.
On the Real Fishing Show, we make catching fish like this a possibility. All right. Okay, Scott, so this is it. You got #1 on. How's it feel?
#1. It's actually not bad.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure. It's going to be real close because I didn't have a long lead behind that board, Bob, so should be just about there.
Okay, let's have a look and see if we can see it.
You see him? Yeah.
It's so dark out there. Here, I'll put my headlamp on. Let's see.
Yeah, you should be able to see him pretty soon. Come on.
All right.
I don't want to pull too hard on it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a nice one. Yeah, nice fish.
You ready?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm just going to wait for 1 second. Oh, no. Okay. That thing ever fighting hard. Look at that. Here we go. Oh, yeah, that's a big boy to start. Oh.
You in the net?
Oh, yeah, and the lure fell out.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, that's a big one.
That's a really big one.
Wow.
That's a really big one.
Whoa. Check that puppy out right there. Whoa.
That's how you start.
Whoa. Look at that. Oh, I better put this Coleman headlamp there. There we are.
Look at the size of that girl
Check
there.
that out. That's a big fish. That's like a double-digit fish to start off the night. Wow. That is a giant walleye, isn't it?
That is a beautiful fish.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to get it back in the water.
Let's get her gone.
All right. Yeah.
She is ready to go.
All right, and there goes. That's like a trophy, I'm telling you. That fish there is pretty much within an inch or two is as big as they get, really, on Lake Ontario. That was, what, about a 32-incher probably?
Somewhere in there, 31 and change, yeah.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, that is an awesome fish. So let's see if we can't get another one.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll put our time in, you know. All righty, good stuff. You know, there's so many things that you really want to pay attention to and obviously have a bit of a checklist when you go out night fishing. And, you know, I'm here with Scott tonight. And Scott, it's a good idea to not go out alone when you're fishing during these twilight hours, isn't it?
Absolutely, and letting somebody know where you are and an estimated time of your return, so that if you're late, you know, help can come as soon as possible.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, even though it's calm this evening, we got a beautiful September evening, lots of bugs out, it's warm, but we've got personal flotation devices on.
Day or night, it's always important to wear your life jacket. You know, with charters, I do a pre-departure speech. The way that I see a life jacket is a lot like a seatbelt. You don't leave your seatbelt off in a vehicle and say, just before I get in an accident, I'm going to put my seatbelt on.
Right.
And a life jacket is very much the same. You either have it on or you don't.
And you're holding a couple things that you need when you're night fishing. Flashlights. I've got the headlamp on. These are Coleman lights, and I use this a lot for my tackle rigging and tournaments a lot, you know, in the morning before the light gets bright enough to see, you know, during the early hours. But a couple of flashlights, that are accessible, because you just, you know, for rigging. Now we've got lights for filming tonight, which is a little different, but when we turn these off, it's pretty dark, so it's nice to have some lights, and this one's got all different colors too, so.
And you know, it's a good idea to have a headlamp on. Again, you know, if you were to fall overboard, you're a lot more difficult to locate at night. It's not as simple as just turning around to pick somebody up during the day. So having that headlamp on and being able to turn it on makes you significantly more visible in the water too.
Absolutely, and speaking of visible, I'd like to get an eye on an eye.
There you go, let's do it.
I'm ready for another walleye.
When we return, big walleye action at night. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Let's take a look down under with this week's Fish Eye View, sponsored by Toro. Count on it. By definition, invasive species are living things that are introduced, foreign, and destructive to an environment. Not just long-distance invaders, but also aggressive native species that don't belong. For example, pike that overtake a bass or trout lake. Even the accidental release of minnows can pose a serious threat if they overpopulate. Despite our best efforts to correct our mistakes, these things are here to stay. Strange as it may seem, nature finds a way to deal with problems. Once considered an environmental disaster, zebra mussels have actually had a positive effect, filtering polluted waters. Loaded with toxins a decade ago, it's now possible to safely consume fish from the Great Lakes. With all the worldwide travel these days, anything out there has a good chance of finding its way here. Importation laws and inspections only slow down the process. Maybe it's time to adapt to these changes the way nature already has. If you can't beat them, join them. In doing so, you may discover a wealth of opportunities are there for the taking. Though it took a while, bass and other game fish have now developed an acquired taste for round gobies. And when it comes to dealing with these bigger problems, you may even win over a new fishing buddy.
All right, well, the inside line just went off, and this one here, Scott's running pretty shallow, isn't it, this planer board?
Yeah, you know, we were just talking about the importance of staying right on that brake line and following the contours on our Navionics card there. When we turned around, I brought this one up quite a bit. We're only 20 feet behind the board, so it's very shallow, and we stayed a little bit farther up on it, and we pushed this. I had this board out real far, so it probably was, it was almost in 10 feet of water there. It was pretty shallow, and the boat's in almost 20 feet here.
No, the flicker minnows that we're running, Berkley crankbaits that are designed for walleye fishing, will dive pretty deep. So it was only getting down about probably 10 feet or so, right?
It was probably kissing bottom there as we swung it in, so.
All right, well, I'm running two things here. I've got the landing net here, and I also have the Coleman flashlight, which is pretty cool because this light is not a very big flashlight, but it's very bright. Usually those walleyes don't like it when the light is shining in their eye either, do they, when they get close? If somebody put this flashlight in my eyes, I wouldn't be happy either. Here, I can hold this rod if you want.
Sure, that's perfect. Take that rod and...
Okay.
Is this how you are this laid back when you got a big fish on in a tournament too? You just pass the rod off and...
No, not at all. No. You know I'm not. But this is very calming this evening.
There he is already, right there.
Okay, here we go.
Oh,
there, right there. Look at those eyes. That's just too cool.
Just got one hook there.
Okay, so you'd like me to net them then?
I think potentially so, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
You want me to hold that light for you?
Yeah, you hold the light.
And I'll bring them in.
And
there we go.
Nice stuff. All right. Yeah. Okay.
I'll give you a little bit of line here. There you go.
There we go. Boy, you had them hooked well. Look at that. Nice walleye. Nice night eye. And in the water. There we go. No problemo. I'm just watching the depth finder. And this is the cool thing about it. On our Lowrance HDS 12 here, we've got a split screen, so we're running the depth on the right-hand side and all the Navionics mapping, of course, on the left-hand side, and I'm just keeping it in the contour lines of the break line, which is, you know, anywhere from 20 to 30 feet deep. But with the planer board, Scott, we're running, you know, up real shallow and out off the break, so we're covering a swath of water, aren't we?
We could make up all kinds of fancy lies about why we have 3 boards on the left side and 1 board on the right side, and some kind of technical excuse for why we're doing that. But truth of the matter is, I only brought 1 left board and 3 right boards.
Well, we were in a hurry, okay? I got down late down here to the eastern end of Lake Ontario to meet you. It was already dark and we were hustling. It was a bit of a fire drill, right? So you would recommend people use 2 right and 2 left hand if they're going to run 4 lines, which is, you know, 2 per person here on Lake Ontario. Or would you say 3 left and 1 right?
Well,
what about 3 right and 1 left?
Actually, there are applications. There are applications when you're intentionally trying to load up a side where you would do that. In this case, it was simply a mistake, but it worked there. Again, we ran this single one up tight against the shore, and we had a very short lead behind it, and it worked for us this time.
I'm not looking at you because I know Pinocchio when he told Fibs his nose grew. That's pretty good fish.
When
right
we
there.
return, Bob is over the moon catching walleyes at night. Stay tuned. This tip of the week is sponsored by Coleman, the outdoor company.
I get this question all the time. What are those poles on the back of your boat? Well, they're power poles, and what they are is for shallow water anchoring, and I've used them now for a number of years, and I don't know how I live without them. You know, they're great for shallow water fishing. Sometimes you can even use them when you say dock your boat. You can just put them down. You don't even have to get the rope out if you're in shallow water. Now, these poles come in 3 different lengths, 6, 8, and 10 foot. And for my tournament fishing or fun fishing, I love them. I can power pole down in pretty well any type of bottom, rock, sand, gravel. Let me show you how they work. If you notice, it even lifted up the rear end of this Ranger Z521C. These things are incredibly strong and durable, and they'll hold you in place. You have to keep in mind, when you're using a bow-mounted electric motor, the momentum of the bass boat sometimes will carry you closer to the object or structure that you're fishing. By locking down with the power poles, you can fish the area thoroughly, not spook the fish, and work it very, very good. So one thing to keep in mind next time you're out there rigging your boat is maybe put a set of these poles on. I think you'll love them. Well, this night fishing, you know, you just never know when you're gonna get bit, and Scott, we've covered some ground trolling tonight. Got the motor guidance in XI5. I've got the remote here. Actually, I'm not even seeing the electric motor from where I am here. I'm just using the GPS and watching where we are. And
just step back there, Bob, and I'll step to the front and I'll pop that off for you.
all right, now most of your chartering's done during the day, right?
It is. All of it, pretty much, for the most part, is done during the day. There you go. Ready? Okay, we're gonna grab the net.
One of the things about night fishing is the excitement is you never know if you've got a 3-pounder on or a larger fish. And one of the cool things about it is the big boys really do come out and play at night. Here, Scott, I'm going to give you this too. This flashlight, I got a
Perfect.
pretty
There
cool.
it is. He's right there. It's a little guy.
How big's little?
Oh, I would say, no, that one might only be about 5, but decided he didn't like our light, did he?
You didn't like the new Coleman flashlight you got? It's a bright little light.
It is.
Okay, let's get him back up on the surface here. A little bit of an algae bloom on there. Okay, yeah, look at that.
You can see why they're called walleye, aren't they? Isn't it at night here? Oh, it's maybe a little bigger than I thought. Might be about 6. There we go.
Oh, that's a nice fish.
Yeah. All right, we'll bring them in here. Oh, it might even be a little bigger than that again.
Yeah, that, yeah. I like your estimation there. Let's see
You
here.
think being in the guide business as a fisherman, I would be a little bit better at overestimating than underestimating.
Well, I'll tell you, you're such a humble, modest guy, you know. Oh, that's a big fish.
Yeah, he's definitely a little bigger than 5.
Yeah, look
You
at
want a pair
that.
of pliers?
Yeah, I got got a pair right here. You can see this flicker minnow here is just crossways in his face. You could just grab these pliers.
Oh, it's in the net there. It's not a good idea to hold that hook when it's in the... Let's pop it out of his mouth first, and then we'll... I just don't want to hold that hook.
The colors on these baits are pretty cool. This one's like iridescent.
There we go.
Okay.
Just didn't want to have my hand on that hook when he thrashed.
That should pop right out.
I can get that out of there now.
There you go. All right, and you can see that's a Berkley flicker minnow. That's an incredible walleye crankbait. We're staying right on that contour line, and that's pretty good fish right there. Well, what do you think? Get a photo of this and we'll get it back in the water.
Sounds like a good idea.
Very cool. Put it in the live well for a minute, and then we'll get the camera out, get a photo, and put her right back in. What do you think? Very nice. That's a pretty big fish.
Yeah, it was a little bit bigger than my initial estimation.
Yeah, thanks for underestimating my walleye.
I always tell clients when they're taking pictures and they're holding the fish in front of them, I'll grab their hands and push their hands towards the camera. I say, we don't book charters like this, we book charters like this.
See, I got alligator arms. I can't reach way out, so my fish are actually really big.
There you go.
Okay.
So in this case, we're running the Navionics app.
When we return, using Navionics mapping to catch more fish. Stay tuned.
Hey, let's take a minute and talk about something really cool that Navionics have, Scott, and it's really something that's cutting edge. And you've got your iPad set up, and it is synced with the Lowrance right now, right?
Yeah, so this is the HDS Gen 3. It's got built-in Wi-Fi in it. And what's really neat is with that built-in Wi-Fi, all we've got to do is connect to the hotspot just like you do at your home. You would go to Wi-Fi settings or connections, and you're going to connect to the HDS connection. And when it does that, it's going to send information to your iPad. So in this case, we're running the Navionics app. When we open the Navionics app, I'm getting depth. So it's saying we're in 13.5 or 13.8 feet, 14 feet, which is coming from your HDS unit or coming from your transducer at the back.
Right.
And so what we're doing here is called Sonar Charts Live. So this is a really, really cool way of recording our depth and instantly updating our charts. So we're immediately changing the charts here as we drive. So we're just coming down this shoreline, and now that the Navionics app knows our depth and our location, it's able to redraw these maps. So we're going to pick up our speed here just a little bit.
Everything that the transducer's picking up through the hull of this Ranger 620, it's recording it from my unit over to your iPad here. Now, will this be sent to Navionics?
Yeah, so what it's going to do is the next time that I take this iPad home and I connect to a internet connection or a Wi-Fi connection, it's going to automatically push these logs to the Navionics server. So no longer do we have to back up our sonar logs, take our SD card home, put it in the computer, back it up, send it. This happens all passively, and on top of that, we're actually drawing these contour lines or these charts live right as we drive.
The speed doesn't matter as long as you're getting a good depth reading on your graph on this Lowrance. It's going to send the information over, right?
Yeah, as long as we don't lose a bottom contact, then you can use it at any speed. Now, it certainly works better at lower speeds because it's dropping waypoints at every second, like kind of cookie crumbs.
Right.
So those cookie crumbs are a little bit closer together when you are going slower. So it does work better at 10 miles an hour or under.
Right now we're just cruising, idling at 6 miles an hour, and you're getting phenomenal readings along here, and it's showing contour lines that were never on the original charts.
And you can see, we were talking about fishing contour lines and staying tight, and you can see, look at this, look at that break line that we've just drawn there. That break line is dropping off there, so being able to follow it is exactly what is here today with today's water levels. It's pretty amazing.
Hey, I'll tell you what, nowadays there's no excuse for not finding the fish. Catching them sometimes is a different story though, right?
Absolutely.
Yep, fish on here. All right.
There we go.
Let's get those lights on. Okay, well, a little bit of wind came up. It's 1 a.m. It's like you're running a charter tomorrow morning, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, so you're gonna be home in bed by about 2 or 3 tonight.
I'm gonna sleep on the boat tonight. I'm gonna go sleep in my boat, wake up and do a charter.
That's what I call a real fisherman. Hardcore. Okay. I would say that, you know, I've caught a couple of walleyes in my career, and I'd say your estimation on weight's a little off. You first called this, I think, a 3-pounder while I was reeling it in.
I think I said 4. Give me some credit. Oh, it might even be a little bigger than that again.
Yeah, that. Yeah, I like your estimation there. Let's see
You
here.
think being in the guide business as a fisherman, I would be a little bit better at overestimating than underestimating.
Oh, that's a big fish. Yeah. Well, let's go 3 times 3, okay? I'm gonna call it 8 or 9 pounds, and it's worthy of swimming back in the water again. Let me just get right over here. I'm gonna hold it here. Look at that. Gosh, oh, it's gone. Wiggling its tail, you know they're ready to go. See you later, buddy.
She wanted to go.
All righty, well, thanks, Scott. I'm telling you, as always, every time I fish with you, you've never let me down. It's always big walleyes out here in Lake Ontario, down in the Bay of Quinte region. Thanks a bunch. Yeah, all right. This is a big fish. That is a fish of a lifetime. Well, that is just amazing.
Look at that thing.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Oh, man. That was too cool. Oh, man, what a fish. Look at that.